Every object in your room is a fossil of a choice you once made. That unread book on your nightstand, the jacket in your closet with the tag still on, the piece of exercise equipment gathering dust. You think you bought them to solve a problem, but you bought them to become a person. This is the silent transaction happening beneath every purchase you make. By the end of this, you will understand who is really doing the shopping and why their choices leave you feeling so empty. The story almost always starts with a spark, a vision of a future self. You see a beautiful guitar in a shop window, and for a moment, you aren't you. You are the person who can play it, the person who hosts parties where friends gather around while you strum chords, the person who is creative, soulful, admired. You buy the guitar, you buy the feeling, you take it home, and for a week it sits in the corner of your living room like a piece of sculpture, a monument to a future that feels close. You pick it up a few times, your fingers are clumsy on the strings, the sounds are jarring, it's hard. Life gets busy. Soon, the guitar is just a guitar again, an object made of wood and wire. The vision of the person you were supposed to become has faded. All that's left is the receipt and a quiet, nagging sense of failure. This cycle is a universal human experience. It's the brand new running shoes for a marathon you never trained for. It's the expensive set of kitchen knives for a gourmet chef you never become. We buy the props for a movie we never shoot. But what is the mechanism behind this? Why does the promise feel so tangible in the store and so hollow at home? The object itself hasn't changed. You have. Your brain, having received the initial reward of the purchase, moves on. The object was a solution to a feeling, a temporary patch on a psychological need. But the feeling returns. It always returns. And the guitar in the corner is now a reminder of the gap between who you are and who you thought a piece of wood and wire could help you become. But to truly understand why this gap exists, you have to look deeper than the object itself. You have to look at what you were feeling right before you walked into the store. There's a concept in psychology called compensatory consumption. It describes the way we use purchases to restore a sense of self when we feel threatened or inadequate. Researchers Derek Rucker and Adam Galinsky found that when people feel a lack of power in their lives, they crave products that signal high status. Think about the last time you felt small, overlooked at work, or out of control. What did you find yourself wanting? Was it a new watch? A premium car? A designer handbag? That urge is your brain attempting to self-medicate. The purchase provides a quick, artificial surge of status and control. It's a painkiller. For a moment, holding the keys to that new car, you feel powerful. The world seems to look at you differently. The feeling is real, but it's also temporary. The car doesn't fix the dynamic with your boss. The expensive watch doesn't grant you real authority. The handbag doesn't mend a fractured relationship. The purchase is a distraction, a highly effective, beautifully marketed distraction that provides a dopamine hit right where you feel the deficit. Your brain learns this connection. Feeling bad equals buy something. The problem is, you develop a tolerance. The first purchase gives you a powerful rush of relief. The second, a little less. Soon, you need more and more just to feel normal. You're treating a psychological wound with a retail bandage. The wound is still there, infected under the surface. And every new purchase just adds another layer, making it harder to see what was hurting in the first place. But this spiral has another driver, one that activates the moment you bring your first purchase home. It's a mechanism that ensures one purchase is never enough. In the 18th century, the French philosopher Denis Diderot lived a comfortable life of modest means. One day, a friend gifted him a beautiful, elegant scarlet dressing gown. He was thrilled, but when he wore it in his study, he began to notice things. His old desk looked worn and common by comparison. His tapestry was faded. His wooden chair seemed cheap. The new gown and all its scarlet glory made everything else he owned look shabby. It created a dissonance. So, he replaced his old desk with a new, expensive one. Then, he needed a better chair to match the desk. He bought new tapestries. One by one, he replaced his old, comfortable possessions with new, luxurious ones that conform to the standards set by the Scarlet Gown. By the end, Diderot was sitting in a lavishly decorated study, surrounded by luxury and deeply in debt. He had become a victim of what we now call the Diderot effect. Your possessions are part of an ecosystem. They seek harmony with one another. When you introduce a new object that is out of step, it creates a pressure to upgrade everything around it. Think about buying a new smartphone. Suddenly, your old headphones with the frayed cord look cheap, your charging cable seems slow, you need a new case that matches the phone's sleek design. One purchase seeds a dozen more. Companies understand this perfectly. They don't sell you a phone, they sell you an ecosystem. The watch that pairs with the phone, the earbuds that sync flawlessly, the laptop that shares your files seamlessly. Each product is a gateway to the next. You think you are making individual choices, but you are often just following a script written by a product designer in an office 1,000 miles away. You're trying to restore a sense of coherence to your world, a world whose harmony was just disrupted by your last purchase. But this still doesn't explain the initial pull, that magnetic force that draws you to the object in the first place. For that, we have to talk about the story you're telling yourself. Every purchase is a sentence in the story of you. You are the author of your life, and the things you buy are the words you use to write your character. When you buy a bag of organic kale, you aren't just buying a vegetable, you are buying a piece of the healthy, mindful person story. When you buy a minimalist Scandinavian-style lamp, you are buying a piece of the calm, organized, intentional story. We are building a movie set for the life we want to live. We are curating an identity. And the more we feel that our actual life, our actions, fall short of that identity, the more we lean on objects to do the storytelling for us. The objects become proof. They are evidence we can point to. See, I have the running shoes. I am a runner. See, I have the full-grain leather journal and the fountain pen. I am a writer. The objects become alibis for the life we aren't living. Critics of this idea might say that building an identity through objects is just part of human culture. And they're right. We have always used adornment and possessions to signal who we are. The issue arises when the object becomes a substitute for the action. When we buy the running shoes instead of going for a run, when we buy the journal instead of writing the first sentence, the set is beautifully constructed, the lighting is perfect, but the actor never shows up for the scene. We are left in a museum of our own aspirations, a collection of artifacts from a future that never arrived. The temporary satisfaction of the purchase is so much easier than the long, difficult, and uncertain work of actually becoming the person. So if buying the story is a trap, how do you start living it? How do you break the cycle of buying the props and finally step onto the stage? You stop trying to buy the identity and you start voting for it. Each tiny action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. One action is one vote. It doesn't win the election, but it counts. Want to be a writer? Buying a $200 keyboard is a vote, but writing one paragraph on a $10 keyboard is also a vote. Which one is a stronger piece of evidence for the identity of writer? Which one actually moves the story forward? Want to be a healthy person? A shopping cart full of expensive supplements is one kind of vote. But going for a 10-minute walk is another. That walk is a small, concrete piece of evidence that you are a person who takes care of their body. The supplements are just a promise. Action creates evidence. Evidence builds belief. And belief, when it is earned through action, changes who you are on a fundamental level. Research from Stanford showed that the easiest way to change behavior is to make it tiny, impossibly small. The goal is to cast a vote, to build a chain of evidence. Forget running a marathon. Can you put on your running shoes? That's it. That's the whole task for today. Just put them on. You have cast a vote for runner. Can you write one sentence? You have cast a vote for writer. These actions seem trivial. They seem too small to matter. That's why they work. They are too small to fail. They bypass the part of your brain that resists big, scary changes. They build momentum quietly under the surface. Soon, putting on the shoes feels normal, and once they're on, well, you might as well go for a short walk, and that walk might become a jog. The identity isn't a destination you arrive at through one big purchase. It is an average of your actions over time. So look around your room again, at all those fossilized choices. Those objects are not your story. They are receipts for feelings you once paid to feel. They are ghosts of a future you tried to buy instead of build. It is not your fault. You are swimming in a culture designed to make you feel inadequate, to constantly create new voids that can only be filled with the next purchase. Resisting this tide takes more than willpower. It requires a different question. You have been asking, what do I need to buy to become this person? The question to start asking is, what does this person do? What does a financially secure person do? They might automatically transfer a small amount of money into savings, just $1. What does a reader do? They read one page. What does a kind person do? They send one text message to a friend they haven't spoken to in a while. The act of becoming is found in the doing, the smallest possible version of the doing. The objects will follow if they are even needed at all. But they will be tools, not crutches. They will be servants to the identity, not the source of it. The things you own are just the prologue. The rest of the book is unwritten. Start with a single word. Start right now.